Happy Memorial Day. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are you about a Celtics win tonight?
Well, I'm going to say what I said last week. It all depends on the team that shows up. And the team that played for 44 minutes and almost gave it away in the last 4 minutes gives me like a 7. But if it's a team that gave it up in the last 4 minutes, I'm saying like at a 6, 7. But if they play like they played for 44 minutes for the full 48, I got them at a 10. I mean, the Garden is going to be rocking. I'm here in Boston right now. It's going to be crazy lit in that building. I mean, it's going to be turned all the way up. I mean, from the beginning, we do a pregame show and we start an hour before. The fans packing the place before going up the escalator, all around it. It's going to be live in that building. So I expect fireworks. I expect it to be a really good basketball game for the most part. And then I think the Celtics could pull away. Jason Tatum shot 1 for 14 in the last 2 games from 3. I don't expect that to continue. The one thing that I was worried about last game was the fact that they kind of played not to lose instead of finishing the game off to play in the win. And then on top of that, I thought they gave up too many offensive rebounds and a lot there at the end. And that could come back to bite you because we kind of dodged a bullet with that. Miami was only had 12 points off of 5 of 20 opportunities on second chance points. So you got to expect them to possibly be a little better there. So Jimmy Butler was phenomenal. If the Heat keep it close, you got Jimmy Butler, who's the closer. He outscored Jason and Jalen in the fourth quarter by himself with 15 points. So you don't want it to be so close because Jimmy will close it. But I got the Celtics winning this.
Well, they asked me this question earlier. I told them I want whatever number is more than 10. That's how confident I am. Whatever number is more than 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 50, I'm at that.
Just do 100.
Yeah, okay, I'm 100.
100.
That's why. Look, I don't expect Jason Tatum to have 6 points in the second half either. I don't expect him to go 1 for 9. He had 25 points at the half, scored 6, they had 31. I expect them to be better, as Eddie said, play a full 48 and not turn the ball over. Man, they got real tight now, man. I think, who's sucking on lemons? Because everybody started to get puckered up right there, Eddie. Yep. They got real tight. I don't think it's going to happen. So whatever the line is, I'm willing to give you the line right now. I don't even know what it is.
Really?
I'll give it to you right now.
I'll
Just
take
say
it. Got it.
I knew it weighed 7.5, ain't it?
7.5.
I know it. I do that. I pretend like I don't know. Get him every time, Eddie.
2 cases?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Happy Memorial Day to you, too.
Y'all having a cookout right now, Eddie. Got like 20 cases of dew coming.
All right, so in the break, I was talking to my friend Eddie House, and he said, so you're going to go down with the Titanic, you're still going to pick the Heat. And I said, I'm not going down with the Titanic, I'm going down with the Minnow, as in SS Minnow, as in Gilligan's Island, for those of you out there old enough to remember Gilligan's Island. It was a good show.
It was, yeah.
It was. Ooh.
Bob Denver.
Bob Denver, and I could go with Tina Louise.
Yes.
Ooh. All right. Eddie House. There's this syndrome out there that I've seen many times operate in my career, and I call it the everybody thinks syndrome. When everybody out there thinks it's going to be one way, voila, it's the other way. That's what I got going tonight because everybody out there thinks this is going to be the Boston Massacre Part 2, the Memorial Day Massacre Part 2. Remember that? 1985. And Shannon Sharpe thinks this is going to be like a 30-point game. And who knows, he might be right. But because you keep trying to speak it into existence, you are daring a team that Eric Spoelstra says we've done it the hardest way the whole year long.
You just told me.
Daring.
You just told me last week, player for player, the Boston Celtics are better. You just told me that. That's all I'm basing it on.
They have averaged being an 8.5-point favorite through 7 games so far. At home, they've averaged being an 8.5-point favorite, 7.5 right now. Right. But remember, the first 2 games were 8 and then 9, and then we went back to 7.5. So they're a prohibitive home favorite. We're at home this year. They've been 5-5 in the postseason. We're at home. They did lose 2 to playoff Jimmy. Now, he was playoff Jimmy in those 2 games, and I didn't see playoff Jimmy all the way from game 2 until 2 minutes were left the other night.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, he reemerged. And to Eddie's point, you want to talk about closing, he did everything in his power to close, and it took the luckiest carom off a missed shot I've ever seen in my life. Marcus Smart, I guess there are smart cars and there's smart shots, right?
Yep.
Well, he shot it almost like it was the perfect assist because it lipped out and fell gently to a Derek White, who was unguarded and unblocked out because Strus is playing center field. He's playing with his back to the inbound pass, and he's going to take the pass away from Jason Tatum, and he did. And he forced the ball to Marcus Smart. You couldn't have played it better. All Jimmy said in the last huddle was, we need one stop. And they got one stop. Right. Unfortunately, the ball lips out. It just lips out so softly and gently on the left side of the basket that Derek White crashes the glass because he's unblocked, because they didn't even care about Derek White because it's only 3 seconds left. And it was the luckiest little ricochet miss that you'll ever see in the history of the playoffs, and you survived because of it. Okay, so what did I see? There's some momentum that got created by playoff Jimmy because I think he refound himself.
You think so?
Yes. And again, Jason Tatum and Derek White have done a phenomenal job of canceling, dismissing playoff Jimmy to the point he looked intimidated for 3.5 quarters the other night. He looked suffocated. And then all of a sudden he said, what am I doing? And he snapped out of it. Well, maybe he'll snap right back out of it.
Okay, let me ask you, Eddie, before you go, what do you think, Skip, the likelihood of the Celtics shooting 7 of 35 again? Now, they hadn't won a game in which they had made fewer than 15 threes.
Again, say it. It was the worst three-point shooting percentage of their whole season. They played 101 games.
They played one of their worst percentages from 3. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well from 2, and with the turnovers late, and they still found a way to beat you.
Okay. Well, that was because playoff Jimmy was 3 for 19 until the last 2 minutes.
He tired. He played 47 minutes.
Really?
That has something to do with Boston defense as well. They've been wearing on him. They've been taking turns with him as well. But Skip, you talked about luck, right? To win a championship, you got to be good and lucky. And so you got your luck right there. The ball came off, and really it was just it had to come off perfect. But it had to happen the way it did because Strus not guarding the inbounder, not putting pressure on the inbound, making it tough. And then from that point, give credit to Derek White. He never stopped moving. He had the mindset. And if the ball came off on the other side, Jason Tatum was there too. So I look at this game as 7 for 35, and a lot of those misses were settled shots, were forced shots, step back, contested threes. I look for them to get back to their defensive ways for 48 minutes. But then on top of that, back into getting into the paint, moving the basketball, getting wide open shots. Again, if they start making shots early and get a couple deflections and get this crowd involved, it's going to be really hard to turn off Boston's water once they get going.
Okay, but for some weird reason, your best player goes and he comes and he comes and he goes and he comes and he goes and he rides the roller coaster. I've never seen anything like what Jason Tatum does.
He'll be there tonight, though.
Okay, well, he might be. And if he is there, go ahead.
In the big moments, he show up, Skip. In the big moment, I said it like that game against Philly, Game 6, struggling all game, and then finally came through. I said sometimes he's not there. He was like Jesus, not there when you call, but always on time, right? And so I also look at what he did in Game 7. Showed up and showed out. So I'm expecting Jason Tatum to be locked in. And we'll know from the tip. We'll look at who he's guarding, his body. I can tell by his body language on defense. And then when he gets the ball offensively, if he's focused on getting downhill, then I know that he's in attack mode. And the one thing about this Game 7, the ref aggressiveness. They're going to let the team who's the most aggressiveness get away with the most thing. So you got to come in and be the aggressors. You got to hit first. And you're going to expect to get hit back, but you got to be the aggressors and play downhill. Don't complain to the refs. And I think the Celtics have a great opportunity to win. But Boston's not going to be easy. Miami's not going to be easy, though.
Okay, time out. Did you just compare Jason Tatum, did I hear right, to Jesus? Is that what you said?
No, because he was right on time. We was asking for him all game.
Well,
where you at, JT? Where you at?
Jesus wouldn't go 0 for 8 from 3 in a Game 6, would he?
He showed up right when you needed him.
I don't think Jesus goes 0 for 8. I don't think he does.
He came down here in human form. He had a little man, a man can live right. So he wasn't in God form when he walked earth.
What? Listen,
He a hater, Eddie.
I'm not a hater. I'm a truth teller. I've read the game logs to Shannon about Jason Tatum. It's 2 for 11. It's 3 for 13. It's like, what are you doing? But then every once in a while, it's 55 points because he's highly capable. And the truth is, the odds are he'll score 50 tonight. That's what the odds would tell you.
He probably gonna get at least 30. He'll get 35 or more.
Well,
He's gonna be
aggressive.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ed. I think he's gonna come out ultra aggressive.
I got one X factor left.
Oh.
My quiver. I got playoff Caleb, as in Martin. Every time I look up, he has another game.
Yeah,
Listen, if they somehow steal one tonight and steal their way into the NBA Finals, it's possible that Caleb Martin has been the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. No, seriously. Yeah. I look up, he had 21.
He saved your bacon in that first quarter.
He saved them.
He's probably been the most consistent. He's been the most consistent player in this series. He's been the most consistent player in this series.
Undrafted out of Nevada. Who knew?
They need him tonight, guys. That's for sure. Heat fans who were hoping for a Tyler Hero appearance, not going to happen.
No.
We'll see if they can get out of this and make it to the finals if we'll see him back. All right, Eddie, thanks so much for spending part of your Memorial Day with us. Enjoy the game tonight.
Memorial Day, bro.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.